All right, good afternoon. This is Mr. Roddy, and we are going to talk about child labor and the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. But real quick, I want to give you a reminder for the homework as due Tuesday, 12/3. Child labor and Triangle Shirtwaist Fire notes are also due then. The Men Who Built America Part 3 begin at 3 minutes, end at an hour and 3 minutes. The Men Who Built America Part 4 begin at 50 minutes and watch till the end. Alright, let's take a look at the next slide. So the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. So this should be a new addition to your notes, a new subheading, Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. And this tragedy leads to better workplace conditions. 3 or 4 doors are locked to prevent theft within the factory itself. There are no sprinklers because it's too expensive. The fire escape is faulty. It's tiny, it's skinny, it only fits one person at a time, and it also winds up collapsing when people are trying to exit the building as well. The owners avoid jail by paying $75 per death. Which amounts to roughly $11,000 total. All right, let's take a look at the next slide. So, the Triangle Waste Company is located in the Ash Building in New York City. And it's located on these 3 floors. The 8th, the 9th, and the 10th floor, which is on the top. Okay? So, the fire erupts on the 8th floor, moves up to the 9th and 10th, blocking stairwells, elevator shafts, basically starting to engulf the entire top part of this factory. But thank goodness the firefighters have arrived, but unfortunately their ladders can only reach to the 6th floor. And the water cannons can only reach to the 9th and 10th floors respectively. So again, you have 8, 9, and 10 here. And the fire is still blazing in the 8th floor here. So the ladders can only reach to the 6th floor. Fire is on 8, 9, and 10. Pumps can only rise water to the 9th and 10th. But the owners come out and tell the fire department, don't worry, the building is fireproof, so you don't have to worry. Of course, the building is not fireproof, and since it's not fireproof, we have this occur. Utter destruction within the individual floors. These were looms of where the cloths and fabric would be made at these specific looms. So you're looking at 6 looms here destroyed, and numbers of looms pictured here just fell apart. And here we have viewing of the unfortunates who perished in the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. And because of the high number of deaths, we have this political cartoon come out that says here, record for New York City, 145 lives lost, building said to be fireproof, only fire escape collapses. So now, as the city building inspector signed off on that, he has the hand of death. So now building inspectors and buildings themselves are really expressed to have safe working conditions. Because of this Triangle Shirtwaist Fire, we see a lot of reforms occur. All right, let's take a look at the next piece here. All right, so we're also going to talk about Jacob Riis and how the other half lives. Jacob Riis was a Danish-born muckraker, or a journalist who sought to improve the lives of the poor in New York City. So, again in your notes, a muckraker, oops, I'm sorry. A muckraker, okay, is a journalist that was set out to expose problems, corruption, crime, or dangers which existed in the major cities across the United States during the late 1800s and early 1900s. The reason they wanted to expose these problems was to generate public interest and rally support to correct the problems themselves. Riis considered poverty the most important concern in major cities across America, and particularly cited that the problem of children being exposed to these poor conditions. So we can see here one of Riis's most famous photos of an immigrant family pictured with all of their belongings. And you can see clearly here their belongings stored throughout the apartment. Okay. So they've really come with everything. This photo shows conditions in the back alley of a tenement or an apartment building. This shows a blind man selling cigars, children moving trash from one wheelbarrow at a time, and one of Riis's most famous photos is of another child selling roasted peanuts at 3 a.m. in New York City. After having worked a full day in the mills, he leases a roasted peanut carriage and sells roasted peanuts all night. So imagine those dirty, filthy hands peeling peanuts to try and sell them to the general population to make some money. Okay. Riis's exposure of these types of activities really tried to change the view on child labor. One of his other famous photos of a child takes place in Louisiana, where it's a crab shucking line. So you insert the knife into a crab to prop open the crab's mouth to get out the meat, and you have an entire assembly line of crab shuckers, and at the head of the crab shucking station is a 2 or 3 year old standing on a board just overlooking the crab shucking station, shucking crabs for about 8 hours a day. So as soon as you could see over the crab shucking station, you were put to work. So a 2 or a 3-year-old having a knife in their hands, shucking crabs all day. Here are children sleeping outdoors, huddled together for warmth. Here you can see them trying to huddle near a grid for warm air. And here's a famous quote by Reese himself. The poor were usually found ill. It was not out of the ordinary to find someone who was frozen to death. Many impoverished citizens of New York shared shanties like these and squatted on land. Garment workers might work 14 to 16 hours a day, being paid by the piece and not being paid well. So another famous Reese photo is that of a Jewish family knitting garter belts by a kerosene lamp. And just the fact that the family as a whole had to knit these garter belts to put food on the table. Here's a man with a sleeping bag or a tick on top of 2 barrels in a basement. And the reason why he's on top of the barrels is because it's likely that the basement would flood itself. Here's another one of Reese's most famous photographs. And you can see here, again, frequently low-paid workers would try to save money by sharing a room. Overcrowding, though, did breed disease. Well, we have 2 here. Looks to be 1 here. 3 here. 2 here. So you're looking at 2, 5, 7, 8 people total in this one apartment. And you can see their items strewn throughout the apartment. Okay, laundry, maybe a chest, some dishes, a desk, more laundry, perhaps even more laundry hanging here. Okay, just showing how this other half does live. Another famous photo by Reese here that shows this baby here in these conditions, and it asks, does this poor baby in this photograph inherit justice and equality, or does the United States need to take action to ensure that working people can provide for their basic needs? Okay, so that was a huge question that was being asked at the time as to whether or not those that were born into this situation would ever get out. All right, effects. Well, when the 16th, sorry about that. When the 16th Amendment goes into effect, which creates an income tax, this really shows the disparity between the wealth of the poor, the wealth of those who had money, okay, and those that were really poor. Okay. Again, his work showed the conditions that workers lived and worked in New York. He put an emphasis on ending child labor, okay, and he helped start the settlement house movement to get people out of the streets. All right, awesome. So, again, just as that reminder, like we have here on a few slides after this, just to remind you for your homework again, do 12.3. You have child labor and Triangle Shirtwaist Fire notes, which are these. You have the Men Who Built America Part 3, begin at 3 minutes, end at an hour and 3 minutes. And you have the Men Who Built America Part 4, begin at 50 minutes and watch till the end. I will collect your sheets on the Men Who Built America on Tuesday. And on Monday in class, we're going to be looking at iMovie and kind of nailing down part of the research components for you folks. Okay? So, if you have any questions, feel free, send me an email. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving recess and enjoys the holiday. Have a great day.